Hi guys, my name's Connor, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can solve a Rubik's Cube in just 7 easy steps. You can use the time links in the description below to go to any part of the tutorial from there, but if this is your first time to learn to solve the cube, I recommend that you watch the video start to finish. Overview of construction. The standard 3x3x3 cube has 20 movable pieces that are all positioned around a rigid core. There are 12 edge pieces with 2 colours, and there are 8 corner pieces with 3 colours. The core holds the centre pieces in place, and it is these centre pieces that tell you what colour that side should be when the puzzle is complete. No matter what kind of moves you make on the cube, the centres always stay fixed relative to each other. Blue is always opposite to green, red is always opposite to orange, and yellow is always opposite to white. You will never find any of the opposing colours on a single movable piece. It's also worth mentioning that because the centres are fixed, it means there is only one correct final position for each movable piece on the cube. The blue-yellow edge goes between the blue and yellow centres. The green-orange-white corner goes between the green, orange and white centres, and so on. Once we put all 20 pieces into their respective places, the whole cube will be solved. Standards. Now, before we begin to learn our method for solving the cube, I want to point out a few simple conventions that will help set the standard for how we hold the cube in our hands. Instead of turning the cube end over end in our hands like this while solving, whenever we need to find pieces, we will spin the cube like this, always keeping the yellow centre facing upward. And if we need to look on the bottom, it's best practice to just have a quick look like this. Moving the cube in our hands this way will allow us to track pieces more efficiently and naturally make the whole process less confusing. We will solve the white side first, as it's the brightest colour on the cube and the easiest to see. You can begin with any side if you wish. However, it will be easier to follow along with this tutorial if you do begin with white, as the pieces I will be naming during the solving process will be the very same as yours. Notation. There is a notation that cubers use to help them write down and read the moves they can make on the cube. There are 6 faces: right, left, up, down, front, and back. Each face uses the first letter from its name to denote a quarter turn clockwise. If a prime symbol follows any of the 6 letters, that means you make a quarter turn anti-clockwise. And when we read the moves aloud, we include the word prime after the letter name. So if I read out this move sequence, it is read aloud as R, U, R prime, U prime. If the number 2 follows any of the letters, it means that you turn that face 180 degrees. It doesn't matter if you turn clockwise or anti-clockwise for half turns, as the result is the same either way. The following graphic will show you all of the basic turns for every face on the cube, and will be a helpful reference for beginners. R, R prime, L, L prime, U, U prime, D, D prime, F, F prime, B, B prime. R2, L2, U2, D2, F2, B2. The method. The way we are going to solve the cube will not be one side at a time, but layer by layer, like a cake. The first solved layer will be on the bottom. Then we'll solve the second layer in the middle, and then the final layer on the top. Step 1. The cross. There are 8 pieces we need to put into place to complete the first layer, 4 edges and 4 corners. We will start with the edges first. This step is known as the cross because the edge pieces form a cross symbol on the bottom when solved. Okay, so here I have a scrambled cube, and in the first step we need to find the 4 white edge pieces. Here's the white-green edge, here's the white-blue edge, and the final 2 are in the down layer as well, the white-orange and the white-red. In order for us to better see the pieces and where they need to go, we will try to bring all of the white edges to the up layer before forming the cross in the down layer. Let's look at the white-green edge first. We always want to have white facing up in this step. Now this is important to remember. Every edge piece can only be moved by two faces that intersect. In this case, the L and the F faces are in control of this piece. Which one will bring white to the top? The L face. I'll make an L prime move and then we're done. Next, I will bring the white-orange edge to the top with an F move. Then the white-red over here with an R2 move. Now here we have a problem. If I try to bring the white-blue edge to the top so white is facing upwards, we will knock the white-green edge out of its position. Let's think about this for a second before making a move. There is only one edge position left on top, so I need this piece to go into that space in the back. So I'll move the space over with a U prime move, and now I can put the white-blue edge into place on the top. So how do we complete the cross from here? Well, now we need to pay close attention to the second color on each of these edges. We need to line them up with their corresponding center pieces. Here you can see we already have the white-green lined up. All we have to do now is do an F2 move to put it into its final position, like this. Now let's spin the cube around and look at the other pieces. Okay, here I can see we have the white-orange already lined up as well. So we'll spin the cube in our hand until the piece is facing us and do an F2. Done. Okay, just two more. Spin to look around, and the last two edges are not lined up with their centers. So let's pick the white-red edge first. We put it in front and hold the up layer, and then spin the bottom two layers around, keeping the white-red edge facing us until red lines up with red, and to put it into its final position, F2. Last one. So let's rotate the whole cube again until white-blue is in front. Then hold the up layer. Turn the bottom two layers together until blue lines up with blue, and F2. The cross is now complete. Here's another example. I have all four white edges in the up layer. 3 are correctly oriented, with white facing up, but the white-blue edge needs to be flipped. We can do this by putting it to the side with an F turn. And now we have created a space in the up layer. We need to bring this space to the right with a U prime. And then we can put the white-blue into position with an R move. Now we can focus on the other pieces. White-green, hold the up layer, turn the bottom two layers together until green lines up with green, and F2 to put it into position. Then we spin the cube. White-red is already aligned. F2. Spin the cube again to look for pieces. White-orange, hold the up layer, spin the bottom two layers, line orange up with orange, F2. Last one. Spin the cube so white-blue is in front. Hold the up layer, spin the bottom two so blue lines up with blue, and F2. The cross is now complete. The last thing I want to show you about the cross is how to tell if you've made a mistake. Here you can see that I do indeed have a cross shape on the bottom, so it looks like I'm done with this step. But when we look at the side colors of the white edges, you'll notice that there are two pieces not in their correct position. This is easy to fix. All we have to do is make sure that the piece we are solving is facing us in front. Then make an F2 move to bring it to the top. Then, like before, we hold the up layer and turn the bottom two layers together until the piece lines up with its side color's center, and do another F2. This has moved the other misplaced edge into the up layer. So all we need to do is hold the up layer again, keeping the piece in front. Turn the bottom 2 layers together to line the side color up with its center, and do an F2 to fix it. Now we can see that we have quickly fixed our mistake, and our cross is complete. Before you move on to the next step, I strongly encourage you to practice making the cross a few times to ensure you understand this step. It's the most intuitive part of the tutorial, and therefore it might require a little more practice than the other steps. Pause the video for a while and give the cube to someone else, or scramble it up yourself. Make the cross again and again and again. Do this enough times so you're positive you understand what you've learned, and don't be discouraged if you lose what you've done or make a mistake. You'll need to repeat this process many times for it to become easier for you. And remember, you can do it. It's time to learn our first algorithms. An algorithm, or alg for short, is a sequence of moves that we can use to accomplish a particular task on the cube. There's an algorithm for our right hand and one for our left hand. The right hand alg is R, U, R prime, U prime. The left hand alg is L prime, U prime, L, U. The reason that these algorithms are essential for the following steps is that they don't affect any of our cross pieces that we've already put into place in the down layer. We will be using these algorithms a lot for the rest of the solve, so it will help if you repeat them over and over until you don't have to think about how to do them. They are very good dexterity exercises as well, to help you get used to using both your hands. A cool attribute they have is that if we repeat either one 6 times, the pieces all return to where they started from. Step 2. First layer corners. In this step, we are focusing on the 4 white corner pieces. Using our right hand alg, we will put them into place one at a time. Our cross is already done, so let's look around for white corners. Here's the white, orange, blue, the white, green, orange, the white, red, green is below, and over here is the white, blue, red. Much like before, we will be focusing on putting the pieces into the up layer before putting them into their correct position on the bottom. Let's solve the white, green, orange first. Whichever corner you are solving, make sure it is positioned on the right side in the front layer. So I'll spin the cube in my hand to align it. Depending on which way white is facing on the piece, it might take more than one use for the algorithm to solve it. When we use the algorithm, it will move the piece from this position to this position below. So like before, we need to line it up so it will be put into its place between the green and orange centers. So we hold the up layer, turn the bottom 2 layers together until it is above the green and orange centers. Next, we use the right hand alg. R, U, R prime, U prime. And the piece is solved just like that. Let's solve the white, blue, red corner next, as it's already in position. Hold the up layer, spin the bottom 2 layers together until the corner is above the blue and red centers. Then use the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. And the piece is solved. Spin the cube to look around for other corners. And here's the white, orange, blue. Make sure it's on the right and front. Hold the up layer. Turn the bottom 2 layers together until it's above the orange and blue centers. And use the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. Notice how it wasn't solved. All we have to do in this case is repeat the algorithm until it is solved. Keep an eye on how the corner moves and you will see when it is solved. R, U, R prime, U prime. 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 Done. Okay, so let's spin the cube to look for a corner. Our last corner is down here. To get the piece into the up layer, Make sure it's on the right hand side and do the algorithm once. R, U, R prime, U prime. Luckily, we don't need to turn the bottom two layers to position the piece, as it's already over its corresponding centers. So let's do the right hand algorithm. And it's solved. The first layer is now complete. Step 3. Second layer edges. In this step, we are focusing on the 4 edge pieces of the second layer. An easy way to recognize them is that they are the only edge pieces left that don't have yellow on them. We need to use both our right hand and our left hand algorithms in this step, so make sure you know how to do both of them at this point. We will also be spinning the cube in the middle of the sequence. This is a spin right, and this is a spin left. As usual, in order to solve a piece, we have it facing us in the front layer. Hold the up layer. Turn the bottom 2 layers together until the side color matches its corresponding center, and then we are ready to solve. Next, we look at where it needs to go. This edge piece needs to go to the right, between the blue and orange centers. If the piece needs to go to the right, we move the piece away from where it needs to go, so we make a U-turn. Then we use our right hand alg, R, U, R prime, U prime. Then we spin right and do the left hand alg, L prime, U prime, L, U. And you will notice that we have solved this piece without disturbing our first layer at all. Next, let's solve the green-red edge. Line the side color up with its center. Notice where it needs to go. Then turn it away from that position, so we make a U-turn. Then the right-hand algorithm, R, U, R prime, U prime. Spin right. Left-hand algorithm, L prime, U prime, L, U. Now let's solve the green-orange edge. Line up the side color with its center. See where it has to go and move it away with a U-turn. Right-hand alg, R, U, R prime, U prime. Spin right. Left-hand alg, L prime, U prime, L, U. We have one left. It's in its correct position, but it's not oriented correctly. To get it out of there, just keep it in the right-hand side facing front. Do the right-hand alg once. Spin right, then the left-hand alg. Now we solve it like the others. Line up the side color with its center. See where it needs to go and move it away with a U-turn. Right-hand alg. Spin right. Left-hand alg. The first 2 layers are now complete. But that's not the full story for the second layer. You may also find that your edge needs to go to the left. If this is the case, just line up the side color with its center as usual. Move it away from where it has to go with a U prime this time. Then use the left-hand algorithm first. L prime, U prime, L, U. Spin left. Then do the right-hand algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. And you're done. It is possible to solve all the second layer edges without ever encountering the left-hand algorithm like I just did a moment ago, but that will not happen very often, and so it is essential that you know how to solve for both right and left-hand cases equally. Step 4. Top cross. This step is quick and easy. What we are going to do is make a cross on the up face, much like the one we made on the white side. But this time, we need to use 2 specific algorithms that are very similar and therefore easy to learn. I call these algorithms the Fru-Ruff algorithms. You'll see what I mean when you read them. There are 4 possible cases we can encounter at this stage. Either the yellow edges will form a horizontal line on the top, a little R shape, a single dot, or if you get lucky, you will already have the top cross complete, and you can skip this step. Make a mental note that we are focusing only on the yellow edges at this stage, so we can ignore the corner pieces for now. The first algorithm is used when you have the line. The algorithm we need to use is F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, and we're done. The next case is if we have the little R shape. The algorithm we need for this case is the same as the last one, apart from one important detail. Instead of turning the front layer like this, we need to turn both the front layer and the section in the middle like this. This is written as a small f. So the algorithm is small f, R, U, R prime, U prime, small f prime. And we have completed the top cross. The final case is the dot. If this is the case you have in your cube, just do the first algorithm followed by the second. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime, small f, R, U, R prime, U prime, small f prime, and the top cross is complete. Step 5. Last layer corner position. In this step, we are positioning the corners before orienting all of the yellow pieces in the next step. We need to figure out which pieces need to swap in order to have all of the corners in their correct places. There are only 3 possible cases at this stage. Either 2 adjacent corners need to swap, 2 diagonal corners need to swap, or it is also possible that your corners are already positioned correctly. And if this is the case, you can skip to the next step. We don't need to worry about how the corners are oriented. We are only concerned about their position for now. Let me take a moment to explain what I mean in a little more detail. This corner is in its correct position, and it's also correctly oriented. You can tell it's in the right position because it's next to its corresponding centerpieces on the side of the cube. This piece is also in its correct position, but it's incorrectly oriented. This piece is not in its correct position, and it's not oriented correctly. Finally, this piece is oriented correctly, but it's not in its correct position. So all we need to do now is figure out which pieces need to be swapped. In this case, it's the 2 green corners. The yellow, green, red belongs over here, and the yellow, orange, green belongs over here. So what we need to do here is align them so they are both on the right hand side, and then we'll do the right hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then spin right and do the left hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. But we can leave out the last U-turn from the left hand algorithm at the end of this adjacent swap, as it's a redundant move. Now, as you see here, all the corners are positioned correctly. When you need to swap 2 corners diagonally, like in this case here, I need to swap the yellow, orange, green corner with the yellow, red, blue corner over here. Whenever we need to swap corners like this, just do the first step once from any angle. So we do the right hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then spin right and do the left hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now, if we make a few U-turns, we will always find an adjacent swap, like in the first case. Here I can see both the green corners are in their positions, so I need to swap the blue corners. Let's spin the cube to position them on the right hand side, and we'll do the right hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then spin right and do the left hand algorithm 3 times. 1, 2. Remember, the last U-turn is redundant for adjacent swaps. And now we can see that all our corners are correctly positioned. Step 6. Orient the last layer. This is my favorite step of this beginner's method, as a friend of mine came up with a fantastic mnemonic to help us remember the required algorithm. Thanks again, Dave. The algorithm for this step is R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. It will help with memorization if you do this algorithm over and over until it's solidified in your muscle memory. It's highly likely you will need to do this algorithm more than once in this step, so knowing it by heart will be extremely helpful to you. To help us remember this sequence of moves, we use the mnemonic RU prime, UR, U2 R prime. This step concerns the orientation of the yellow side, so we want all of the yellows facing up at the end of this step. To do this, we need to find the fish. Here you can see I have the fish. Turn the up layer until the fish is facing bottom left. Then do the algorithm. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. And we have oriented all of the yellow side. If you don't have the fish, like in this case, turn the up face until you can see a yellow sticker on the left side in front, right here. Then do the algorithm. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. Then turn the up face again to find the sticker on the left in front. Then do the algorithm again. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. And we have the fish. He's already facing the correct way, so we do the algorithm again. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. Turn the up face to make him face the correct way again, and do the algorithm once more. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. And the final layer is oriented. To align the up layer after this step, just turn the up face until the yellow corners are aligned with their centers. It is also possible that you have completed the cube after this step. If you have, well done. Step 7. Permute the last layer. This is the last and final step. To complete the cube, we just need to put the last few yellow edges into their places. There is only one algorithm left to learn. The algorithm for this step is R, U prime, R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R2. A helpful mnemonic to remember this algorithm is R U prime, R U, R U, R U prime, or prime, U prime, R2. There are usually two possible arrangements of the yellow edge pieces at this stage if the last step didn't solve your cube. Either you have to move 4 edges into their places, or you need to move 3 edges, and one side of the cube is fully completed. If you only need to permute 3 edges, just spin the cube so the solved side is in the back, and do the algorithm until the whole cube is solved. You shouldn't have to do the algorithm more than 3 times in this step to complete the cube. If you need to permute 4 edges, do the algorithm once from any angle. R, U prime, R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R2. This will have solved the side fully somewhere on the cube. Next, just spin the cube so the solved side is in the back, and do the algorithm again. RU prime, RU, RU, RU prime, R prime, U prime, R2. If that didn't solve it, do it once more. RU prime, RU, RU, RU prime, R prime, U prime, R2. And you're done. Congratulations, you have completed a Rubik's Cube. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Thank you so much for using this tutorial to learn to solve the cube with me. I had a really enjoyable time making this video for you all. I learned a lot during the process as well. I'd like to give a special word of thanks to YouTuber lolwuteva for letting me use his Blender Rubik's Cube Animator script for this tutorial. And if you use Blender 3D and are interested in cubing, you should definitely check it out. I left a link in the description. If you're still with me, I have just one favour to ask. If you did enjoy to learn to solve the cube with me in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a second to hit the like button below, as it helps other people find the video much easier in search results. If you'd like to comment to let me know if the tutorial helped, I'd appreciate that also. Let me know if there are any areas you're having difficulty with, and I'll reply as soon as I can to help you out. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy cubing.